Welcome back. Now that we have established what AI is and what AI is not, it is time to look under the hood of the most impactful technology in the world today. You have heard the term LLM or large language models used in almost every business meeting lately. But what is it really? Today, we are going to demystify the engine behind generative AI revolution. We are moving past the magic and looking at the mechanics so you can understand how this technology actually functions as a professional tool. Moving on, uh, we'll talk about the engine of generative AI. If generative AI is the vehicle, the parts you interact with to create reports, images, or emails, the LLM is the powerful core that drives that creation. All right. So simply put, an LLM is a type of artificial intelligence trained on massive data sets to understand, interpret, and generate human-like text. When you use ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, right, you are not just using a search engine. You are communicating with a model that bridge the gap between raw data and reasoning. It doesn't just find information. It understands the context of your request to provide a bespoke answer. Now, moving on, we'll look at the three core components of large language model. To understand how this engine works, we have to look at their three foundational pillars. First, we look at the massive amount of data. These models are trained on trillions of words book, scientific journals, legal briefs, and code. This is the model's knowledge base. Next, we'll look at the transformer architecture. This is the brain structure. It is a specific type of neural network that allows the model to understand context. It doesn't just read words one by one. It understands how words at the beginning of a paragraph relates with the word at the end of a paragraph. Now, the next we'll be looking at is parameters. Think of this as the fine-tuned weights or settings. This might sound a little bit technical, but all right, we'll get to understand it later. There are billions of these settings that dictate how the model reasons through a problem. All right, so we'll move to the next, understanding the large. All right, so you might ask, why do we call them large language models? The scale is truly astronomical, if I would say. For example, GPT-3 was built on roughly 175 billion parameters. When you reach this level of scale, something incredible happens. We see emergent abilities. This means the model developed capabilities it wasn't explicitly programmed for. It develops nuanced reasoning, the ability to understand irony, professional tone, complex logic. It also gains versatility. Yeah, one single model can help you draft a legal contract in the morning, write Python code at noon, and summarize a medical journal in the afternoon. It is the scale that creates this level of intelligence. All right. So the next thing we'll be looking at is why should professionals even care in the first place? All right. Understanding understanding the LLM in an engine change how you work. All right. You stop seeing it as a smarter Google search engine and you start seeing it as an intelligent co-pilot. When you know the engine is driven by data and reasoning parameters, you become better at prompting it, better at delegating your tasks to it, and better at innovating within your workflow. You are no longer just a user, right? You are an architect of your own productivity. Now that we have known what an LLM is, we'll move to the next topic that talks about how these models work exactly. See you in the next class.